Okay, so today we are going to use our trig from Tuesday, the same SOHCAHTOA, to find the sides, right? And I'm going to use two words today that you may not know. That's why I wrote, well, you probably know the words, but I'm going to use them in a specific math context. So that's why I have them written here. You don't need to write them down, right? You're just going to write down what I highlight in green. So our vocab, if I use the word given, when I say given, what I mean is the information that the problem gives us, right? So basically like the important stuff they tell us or what the picture looks like. Okay, that's going to be our given information. And then our unknown is going to be the thing that we want to know. Okay, the thing that we want to know. So those are going to be the two words that I use here. Oh, good. We got Chelsea and Lauren joining us. Amazing. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Chelsea. I'm going to send out this link for you for attendance. We literally just started the notes, so you can jump in with us. Cool. Okay, so we are going to, the problem's going to give us some information, and then there's going to be an unknown that we need to find. Okay. So here are our steps. Remember, I'm highlighting things I want you to write down. So the word steps. And then number one, we are going to identify the givens, what the problem gives us, and the unknown, the thing that we want. Okay, identify the givens and the unknowns. Step two is that we are going to decide which trig function to use. We're deciding from SOHCAHTOA. So this word is trig. So remember, you're only writing down the things that I highlight. So number two is decide which trig function to use. We're thinking specifically about SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent. Step three is we're going to write an equation. And step four is we're going to solve that equation. Throw a Y in the chat when you are ready. You have these steps written down on your paper. Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Mia. Throw a Y in the chat when you have the steps written down. Thank you. Throw a Y in the chat when you have those steps written down. All right. I know some of us are still writing. That's okay. I'm going to have us look at this triangle. So we're going to go ahead and draw this triangle here. I want you to make sure that you have the 52 degrees and the 30 miles. So you don't need to write the word boat or dock, lighthouse. So you're going to draw a quick triangle that looks like this. Make sure you have the 52 and the 30. All right. So the question is asking us, how far is it from the boat to the lighthouse? Right, so from the boat to the lighthouse is this side over here. So since they're asking me that, I'm going to put my X right there. That's what I want to know. That is my unknown, right? So X, something I should be writing now. Right, so I have my quick triangle, I have my right angle, my 52, my 30, and my x. So my 4 steps that I was writing down here, I've written in this box here. You don't need to write the steps again, right? Remember, I'm going to highlight in green what you should write down. So we're writing my unknown, the thing that I want to know is x. Right? The thing that I want to know is x. The information that they are given to me are the numbers in the problem. What are the numbers? You can go ahead and chat or come off mute. What are the numbers that are in this problem, the givens? $30 miles for sure, 30, and also 52. And thank you for being specific that those are miles and degrees. Yeah, Anthony, great job. And Mia, great job. All right. So I have 30 miles and 52 degrees. Okay. These, the x, the 30, and the 52 are each pieces of my puzzle. Right, they're each pieces of my puzzle. So when I am looking at this, I now need to label them with SOHCAHTOA, right? So I'm going to label them with my opposite, my adjacent, my hypotenuse. So if this is my angle, right? If that's my angle, I call that theta, like a 0 with a line through it. So my 52 degrees is my theta. 52 degrees is my theta. Across from there, right, over here, this is my opposite. This is my opposite over here. Right, so here's theta, across from theta, this is my opposite. My longest side is my hypotenuse over here with x. That's my hypotenuse. My leftover side, once I do those two, or the one that's touching my angle, this one over here is going to be my adjacent. So I see that x is h, my hypotenuse, and 30 is a, my adjacent. 30 is a, my adjacent. So I need to decide, using a and h, am I going to use sine, o and h? Am I going to use cosine, a and h? Or am I going to use tangent, o and a? Which of these should I use? If they give me, or if I want to know h and I have a, should I use sine, cosine, or tangent? Which one uses a and h? Yeah, for sure, cosine, right? For sure, cosine, because we have a and h here. So I'm going to use cosine. I don't want to use sine because I don't have o. O doesn't help me, right? O doesn't help me. And tangent, I have a, but I don't have o, so that one doesn't help me either. So I'm going to use cosine for this problem. Right, so I'm going to use cosine. So I should have written down somewhere ca and cosine. So my third step is going to be to write the equation. The first thing I use is whatever I decided, sine, cosine, or tangent. We decided cosine. I'm going to go ahead and write cosine right here. And then after cosine comes the angle. What is our angle? What number represents our angle? 52, yeah. 52, just like that. So I'm going to have cosine and then the angle. And then cosine, remember, is a over h. That's why we have ka, right? A over h. So I need to put a right here and h right there. What's the number or letter that represents a in this problem? The number or letter that said it was a. Yeah, 30 miles for sure. I'm going to put 30 there. I'm going to forget the miles for right now. We'll come back to the miles. What was the number or letter that represents h? So looking back at our drawing, what's the number or letter that represents the hypotenuse? We don't have one, right? Yeah, X for sure. Good job, Elder. Good job, Mia. Right, so we have X. So our H is X. So we have cosine, the angle equals A over H because it's cosine, A over H. So now our job is to solve the equation. I'm going to rewrite it down here. You already have it written down. So now I need to solve it and I need to get X by itself. So I need to get X out of this fraction. Right now I have divide by X. What's the opposite of division? Opposite of divide is multiply. Yeah. So I'm going to multiply by X. And what I do on one side, I have to do on the other. So I'm going to have X times cosine 52 equals X divided by X is 1, so it cancels, equals 30. Now that helped me because I don't have a fraction anymore, but I still don't have X by itself. X is being multiplied times cosine 52. What's the opposite of multiplication? If I want to get rid of multiplication, I should use division. Yeah, so I'm going to divide by cosine 52, and I'm going to divide by cosine 52 on both sides. And that's going to leave me with just X on this side. That's the goal. And now I have 30 over cosine 52. I'm going to need to use a calculator because I can't do that in my head. So I'm going to go to decimal. I'm going to go to decimals here, and I'm going to type it into my calculator. So I have 30 divided by, I'm going to click on that functions button, click cosine 52, like that. Cosine 52. And I get 48.7. 48.7. Right. 48.7 what? What was our unit here? Is this, first of all, is what we were calculating, was that a side or an angle? Is that a side or an angle that we just found? Remember, it's on the outside, right? On the outside. So since it's an outside, it's a side. And since it's a side, yeah, since it's a side, it's going to be in miles, just like Julie told us, right? Since it's a side, it's in miles, right? If you asked me, like, how far is it from the boat to the lighthouse? And you were like, oh, it's 48 degrees. You'd be like, that's not an answer to my question, right? You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, it's 48 degrees. You'd be like, oh no, it's 48 miles, right? 48 miles from each other. Right, so this is our answer for this problem. Okay, I want to get a gauge of where you are at. So I want you to think about, like, did I get confused on this problem? Right, so if you got confused, so the question is going to be, when did you get confused? Right, and I'm going to send a poll. If you choose A, that means you got confused on step 1, B on step 2, C on step 3, D, you got confused on step 4, and E is, I didn't get confused. I understand. Okay, so those are your options there. Go ahead and choose. So if you got confused on step 3 and on, you would choose C for this case. Tell me where you got confused. Did you get confused on step 1? That was A. If you got confused on step 2, that was B. If you got confused on step 3, got confused on step 4, or if you're good. Okay. All right. If you are someone who got confused on this first step, all they're asking is what is unknown? What are you trying to figure out? And what do they tell you? They tell you the 30 and the 52, and they don't tell you the X. That's what you want to know. Then we labeled them, right? So from the angle, we went opposite. The longest side is our hypotenuse, and the leftover side, or the side that's next to it, is the adjacent, right? The adjacent. All right, if you got confused on step 2, we were just choosing, since we have the adjacent and hypotenuse, we were choosing out of the 3, right? Out of the 3, which one matches with A and H? Oh, we have A and H, so that C tells us to use cosine. If you got confused on step 3, we are going to write an equation. So we're using the one we chose from step 2. The angle goes there. And then 30 over X, that's our A over H, because this tells us A over H. A over H. You got confused on step 4, which was some of us, right? You got confused on step 4. This is the equation solving part. So now we're trying to get X by itself. Okay. If you don't know where you got confused, that is okay. We're going to try another one. If you are in step A, B, C, or D, like if you got confused on one of these steps, if you could tell me why you think you got confused or ask a question, I would love to answer it. So one person said that they understood how to write the equation, but then when it came to the solving an equation, all the numbers, they got lost in the numbers in the equation. That's okay. We're going to solve 2 more together. So we'll be able to have some more time together on that. Okay. More time together with the solving. Totally understand. Would love to answer any questions if you did not. Let's go ahead and look at another example. I think another example will help us. So again, remember you're writing down the things that I put in green. So we're going to draw this triangle real fast. We're going to make sure that we have X on it. 13, X and 13 are our sides. 32 is our angle. Right, so X and 13 is our sides. All right. So for our unknown, what is our unknown? What is our unknown? What is the thing they want us to find? Do they want us to find 32? Did they want us to find 13? If that means height, I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, they want us to find this side over here, right? They want us to find BC. They want us to find X. Oh, unless that means hypotenuse. If they write X here, that's the thing they want us to find because it says solve for X. Hypotenuse over here just like doesn't really matter because it's not like a part of the problem, basically. It's not going to be a part of it for us because this hypotenuse, we don't want it and we don't care about it. They also tell us the number 13, and they also tell us the 32 degrees. These are the 3 things they tell us. They tell us X, 13, and 32. My next step has to be to label it. So here's theta over here. That's my angle. I'm going across. What is this over here? What is X? Is it O, H, or A? So like straight across from my angle, is this O, H, or A? Yeah, it's O, perfect. It's O, so X is our O. And then we know that the longest side across from the 90 degrees, that's our H over there. And then we have our A is our leftover or adjacent over here. So A is 13. A is 13. O is X. H doesn't matter because we don't care about it. And 32 is our angle. This is our theta. It's our angle. Okay, so if we have O and A, do we want sine, cosine, or tangent? If we have O and A, which of these includes an O and an A? Tangent, yeah, good. Tangent, this one. Tangent. So when we write our equation, we're going to use tangent to start. What is our angle? What's our angle here, our theta? 32 degrees. Good job, Anthony. 32 degrees. And then tangent is what over what? It tells us right here in the order. It tells us it's O over A. Right, it's over A. So I'm going to put O right here and A right there. What is O in this case? It's X, good. Job, Tony. And what is A in this case? 13. So we have tangent 32, good job, Mia, too. With tangent 32 equals X over 13. Tangent 32 equals X over 13. So we're trying to get X by itself. X is divided by 13. What's the opposite of divide by 13? So that's a good thought, Anthony. That's what we did last time, was put X on both sides. But this time we're dividing by 13. So now instead of multiplying by X, we want to multiply by 13. We want to multiply by the denominator, the bottom number. So we're multiplying times 13 right here. So just like, because X was on the bottom last time, that's why we multiplied by X. 13's on the bottom this time, so we're going to multiply by 13. So that's going to cancel here because we want the top and the bottom to cancel. We're trying to get rid of the fraction. So we would have 13 times tan 32 equals X. 13 times tan 32 equals X. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to type in 13 times. I go to functions in order to get to this one, and then I go to tan right there. And then I'm going to type in 32, and I get my number here. If you're typing it in and you're getting something different, right? If you are getting this number, 8.59, and you're like, what the heck, miss, how did you get that? Or on the last problem, you got negative 184. You're like, what the heck, right? That is because your calculator is in radians, right? So in order to turn it into degrees, which is what we're using for our problem, we need to go to the little toolbar up here, the little tool, and then you're going to go to degrees, click on degrees, and then that will put your answer in the right format. So you'll get the right answer. If you don't do that, you're going to get the wrong answer, and then you're going to be mad at me. Why, miss, why can't we get the right answer? I'm doing all the things. And I'm like, you are doing all the things. You have your calculator in radians. So you want it to be in degrees. So we have 8.1. 8.1 is our X. 8.1 is our X. Okay, I'm going to send this poll out again. I want you to tell me, did you get stuck on this part? Did you get stuck on this part? Did you get stuck on this part? That's C. Did you get stuck on this part? That's D. Or did you get it all the way down to the bottom? Where did you get stuck? Anthony, did you understand the half, this part here, where like you understand the 13 part, this part?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. It's just after that I got lost.
Oh, after that, all I did was put it in my calculator. I just put 13 times tan 32. I put that in the calculator right here. And that's how the 8.1. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
Okay, yeah. So once there's just numbers and tangent, right? Once there's tangent numbers, all that, you just go straight to your calculator here. So once it was in this blue, once it was in like this part here, right? Once X is by itself, then you're just gonna go straight to your calculator, like that. Thank you for coming off mute to tell me about that. Okay, my humans who are, if you're stuck in this section or this section, can you tell me? You can either come off mute or you can tell me in the chat. Tell me where you got stuck. Or if you got stuck in D, tell me where you got stuck. Oh, good question, Mia. I didn't even see that. I'm seeing it now. So Mia, why didn't we divide is a great question. So on the last one, on this one here, we had to move the X to the other side. And then once X was on the other side to get it, like we moved it to the other side to get it out of the denominator. Then X was now next to cosine 52. So we had to get the cosine 52 over here. So this we had to do 2 steps because X was on the bottom, right? In this problem here, X is on the top. So it's an easier fix because we can just get rid of the bottom number and then we already have the answer there, right? So once we get rid of the denominator, we move the denominator to the other side. And now X is all by itself, so we're all done. We don't have to do the division step. So we get this one here. These are awesome questions. Thank you for asking them. Does that make sense, Mia? This one here? Okay, can we do one more? Yes, we're gonna do one more right now. For sure. Okay, we're gonna do this last one. We have about 5 minutes left. Actually, we have like 6 or 7 because my class starts a little later. So we're gonna draw this one. Go ahead and draw this triangle on your paper. Yes, absolutely, Tony. Okay, Tony's got us. Tony, tell us what the unknowns are, or tell us what the unknown is, and tell us what the givens are. What do they give us? What do we want to know?
The unknown is X, and the givens are 10.3 and 37 degrees.
Amazing, awesome. Tony, do you feel confident labeling them for us? Like labeling it with like, oh,
not really.
No?
I haven't got to that point yet.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So we have our angle here, and we're gonna label O, H, and A. Yeah, Chewy, do you want to come off mute, or you want to just tell us in the chat?
X is O, and then
X is
10.3 is H,
O.
and then 37 is I forgot what it's called, but it's the zero. That one
The
thing.
yeah, it's called theta. Yeah, theta. Cool. So 10.3 is H, X is the O, and theta is 37. Okay, cool. So y'all, what do we need to do for step 2? Anybody can feel free to come off mute if you feel, or you can chat. Should we choose sine with O and H? Should we use cosine with A and H? Or should we use tangent with O and A? So here I have X is O, right? And H is 10.3. So I have O and H. So I'm going to look for the one that has O and H. It'll be this one here. And that S stands for sine. So I'm going to use sine for my equation. Good job, Cherry. So I have sine. All right, Chewy told us that our degrees, our theta was how many? How many degrees do we have? How many degrees do we have? Yes, for sure, 37. 37. Nice. Okay, and then sine is O over H. So what was my O? X for sure. What was my H? 10.3 for sure. Good job, team. All right, so I've got sine 37 equals X over 10.3. Okay, I need to solve this guy here, right? I see dividing by 10.3. What's the opposite of dividing? Multiply for sure. What am I going to multiply by? 10.3 for sure. That's going to cancel my 10.3s and leave me with 10.3 times sine 37 equals X. Do I need to do the division step? No, I don't, right? X is by itself. I don't have to. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to type in 10.3 times sine of 37. 10.3 times sine 37. I have 6.198. I only want one decimal, so 6.1, and then the 9 is going to round that up. So I'm going to have 6.2 as my answer. 6.2 as my answer. That makes sense to me. This makes sense to me because this side right here is like a little shorter than this side over here, the 10.3. So it makes sense that it would be a little shorter. All right, let's toss this poll out one more time. Did you get stuck on step 1 this time? Did you get stuck on step 2 this time? Did you get stuck on step 3 this time? Step 4? Or did you make it all the way to the thing? Why is X alone? David, can you come off mute and say your question in a different way?
You said we didn't have to divide because X was alone. Why is that?
Yeah, so when we multiply by the 10.3 right here, right, we move that 10.3 to the other side. So 10.3 is now on this side over here. So it's not on our X side anymore. So now X is like just big chilling by itself.
Oh, it's been like that for all the questions, right?
Yeah, it's been just like that for all of them.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, for the first one, that was the only one where we had, because X is on the bottom, we had to move X to the other side, and then we had to move cosine to the other side.
Is cosine the only one where the X is on the bottom, or was it just a specific question?
It was just a specific question because our X was the H.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was the second letter in the thing, right? So if our X, if we're doing sine and the X is H, or if we're doing cosine and the x is h, or if we're doing tangent and the a is x, then we would have that x on the bottom because it's the second one. So that's
Oh,
when
okay.
we'd have to do the 2 steps.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Thank you, Miss.
Awesome. Of course, great question. Okay, so I'm going to throw this out to you one more time. Where did you get stuck? Did you get stuck on step A, step B, step C, step D, or did you make it all the way to E this time? How did you feel on this one? Oh my goodness. It looks like we're doing awesome. Tell me though, be honest. Where are you at? Always been E. I'm glad you made it to E, Tony. Hey, Jesus, thanks for sticking it out with us. You did a great job. Thanks for helping. Y'all did an amazing job in the chat today, and I really appreciated those of you who came off mute to ask your questions or to give an answer. Sending merits to anyone who was participating in the chat today or who came off mute today. I really appreciate that. For your assignment today, you already have your notes done, so you already got 10 points. So I shouldn't have any missing assignments because you want to at least get those 10 points, right? You took notes with us. You should check that out with us. And then for your assignment, you have 2 options. If you like writing on paper, you can choose option 1 and do these problems here. If you like option 2, you want to do IXL, you totally can do IXL. There are 2 options there. So that is going to give you your 20 points. Don't forget your answer choices are here if you're working on paper. And then your last 10 points come from the checkpoint quiz. Checkpoint quiz, it is 4 quick questions. So we're going for that 4 out of 4 score. You can resubmit if you need to, okay? But every single person should submit because you do have your notes, right? So even if you just submit your notes, make it happen, okay? Other than that, it is Friday Junior. It's Thursday afternoon, so I hope you have an amazing weekend. If you want to stick around, I'll go ahead and open up these breakout rooms for you. If you want to stick around, you are more than welcome to chat with Stephanie, and she can help you out. Other than that, y'all have a great week, great weekend. I look forward to seeing your work. I'll see you guys later. Adios, amigos. Bye, friends. Bye, everybody.